Hi Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and I am on a totally different live. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find people to get them back over here. But if you just give me a few seconds while I do a little bit of research, I will be right back. One moment. Try that, folks. I just put a link into the chat. So if you're there, oh, you are there, yay. Oh, good, people are showing up. I'm hoping that you're actually that you can hear me talking. I'm having just a couple difficulties on this end, and I just want to make sure that I am getting people to the right spot. So just give me a anytime I think I got it. Oh, good, you can hear me. I have a new mic, so I'm hoping that it isn't. There are people here. That's a good thing. All right. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm really happy to see there's people showing up in the chat. I haven't even had a minute to look at it, but I will try to keep up with the chat over the night, but while I'm moving from camera to camera or station to station, and I have tons of stuff open on my computer. It's amazing to me when you don't do something like this, how much you have to relearn. But I really have worked hard, and I think I have a lot of it figured out. So yay, people can hear me, can find me. Tan is here, good. Anita's from Colorado. Terry's here, yay. Cool, okay. So I have some notes here on my side that I can hopefully keep track of so that I can kind of stay on track. I didn't really want to take up everybody's whole night, but I have a lot to show you tonight. So we'll just go ahead and get started. For those of you who ordered paper shares from me, I have shipped them out, and hopefully you will start getting them, I don't know, probably tomorrow, maybe. Those of you who are close to me, and then maybe, good, people are here, cool. All right, so the paper shares did finally go out. I had to wait. I would have had them out earlier, but that darn autumn paper that was back ordered, I did get some. So I got everybody's paper share done and ready to go. So there's that. So I'm going to show a couple things tonight. I'm going to show my new paper pumpkin kit came yesterday, and so this afternoon I spent a little time making the projects from the kit and making a couple other cards from it that I probably would use more so than the bags and the little cards that are in that. So I just changed them into big cards. Good, it looks like there's people from all over, so that's awesome. I am going to show, after I do my little demonstration, I've got, like I said, a couple things to show. I will answer questions. I have to come back to the computer to look to see, because I haven't quite figured out how to, I can't set up another piece of equipment. So if you have a question, that's great. Put it in the chat box in the comment section. You can also send me an email. I was trying to keep track of that because I thought I was going to be on my website, but the wrong link is up there, so those people are getting nothing. But I'll come back and answer questions, and if I miss your question, just ask again and keep asking till I actually answer it. So let's hope my mic battery doesn't die, because that was the next thing I noticed today, that my battery for my mic was getting low, and I thought, well, that's typical. But we will. Okay, we'll get going. So I'm going to switch cameras over to my demonstration table. And hopefully my mic's, like I said, my mic isn't too echoey and it's still working. The first thing I'm going to show you is the paper pumpkin. So I don't know if you guys are subscribers to Paper Pumpkin, but I am, because it's a project that I can do that isn't something I have to plan. So normally when my Paper Pumpkin comes, I just do whatever the kit is. And, you know, it's kind of a nice little creative break for me. But today I got the kit, and I love this kit. Not that I don't love it, but I wasn't convinced that I was going to use 8 boxes. And these little gift cards are cute. They're very pretty, but I personally prefer bigger cards. And so I did some stuff today with it. I'll show you the finished product. This is the bag, and it is really pretty. It's got like a linen look to it, to the designer series paper. And it's good size bag. You could put quite a bit in there. And then the cards are, I don't know, this is like, it's not quite 4x4, but they're beautiful, and they have that gold fleck. And then I loved the envelopes that coordinate with them. And if you can see the envelope, it's printed all the way down through there, of course. So I had to use some of that paper. You get lots of stuff with it. Lots of stuff as in, you know, they come in a packet. And this one has the 8 bags. 8 bags? No. Yeah, 8 gift bags, 8 gift cards and envelopes. And then all the die cut pieces and a stamp set somewhere here. And the Lost Lagoon is the ink color. So the stamp set has some really great sayings in it. And I'm going to show you the cards that I made. What you'll see that I did here, and I am going to show you how I did some of it, not all of it, but I'm just going to quickly show you the cards that I made. And we'll just start with this one. So this paper back here is actually the envelope. I cut the envelope. And then this piece here is the card, the greeting card. And then the piece that's behind there, that's just kind of a layer, just to give it a little bit of dimension. Has that linen look to it, and then it's pieces of the bag. And actually, I just used the same kind of layout on this card with a little banner, but I really like that. And then this one, this too has the paper from the envelope, the card, and then just the die cuts. Super simple. And these two actually both used, as you can see, both used a box that I cut up. And so this one is actually 2 pieces. It's the, you know, has a little bit of dimension to it. So it has the flap. And then this one, I flipped the flap around and just used 1 piece. And then I added a little piece of ribbon. I had some ribbon that coordinated with Lost Lagoon, and I used that. And I kind of wish, the other day Brittany was here. She was helping me, and that's my daughter-in-law. She was helping me with some Stampin' Up! Stuff, get me organized. And she was doing paper pumpkins. And I noticed that she had some extra gold gems to stick on, and I kind of wish I had them. I know they're here somewhere. I just am not going to be able to find them until I start putting stuff away. But they would be pretty, and they were like from probably last month's or the months before. One of the months coming over the summer of paper pumpkin that I just had stacking up here, and she did them for me. So save your little extras that you get, your little embellishments and all that, because again, I would have used those little gold sticky things. That's not what they're called, but they're similar to this, which is blooming pearls. See, those would be pretty. Any of these would be pretty on there because it coordinates with that, but just to add a little bit more dimension. Not that we needed that, but. So let me show you how I did it. So this is just an envelope. I stick it in my cutter. I will tell you, I just today put a brand new blade in my cutter. And it's amazing when you have a sharp blade in your cutter, how well it works, because I've been struggling with it for a while now. So I just set this in my cutter right up along the groove. And can you see? Yeah, you can see that. And then, so what I've actually cut off is just this tiny little strip, but it's enough to open up that side. And then I'm going to flip it over. I want this straight edge along that top, and you really can't use this because it's not straight. So I have to flip it around, upside down. Again, put that in there so it's right in the groove, just barely in the groove, and cut that off. And that's how I got my designer paper that I used for my cards. Cut that off. And then I've got this piece of paper that I can use. And I'll tell you on this one card, where is it? Here, this one. I trimmed down the middle piece is what I used on my actual card, because then it came all the way to the end. But you'll see right at the end here, I didn't realize that till if you get up close and personal, if you look at it, that's where you lick the envelope. And it doesn't really show that much. It just looks shinier than the rest. But it's okay. Yeah, so this, and then this one, this piece, you see I just cut, I think it's 4x4. So 4x4 square, and I cut off my flap to layer that piece. So that's really how you do it. It's pretty simple. The same thing with this. So for one of the cards, I cut this flap off here at the score line, and then I cut my box open the same way, and then I have some fairly good sized pieces to use. And on one of these cards, this one here. So I did this on the outside, and then I put a piece of that linen box on the inside and stamped it. I don't think I did that for the rest of them because I started playing and then didn't want to just do the insides. But I would certainly, especially for these darker bases, I like to put something on the inside to jazz it up and to make it easier to read and look at. And so I have lots of, I kept all the scraps, and I can use them as insides of my cards. So really, it's just the same thing. The only thing I got to be worried about on this one, and not that it's a worry, is that there's score lines, and these boxes are like not corrugated. What's it called? Gusseted. So they have a score line here and up that side, but there's a score line there. So that's kind of where I made my cut marks, where I knew there were score lines. I always make sure when I'm cutting off an edge, especially like this, that I have the straight edge butted up against the edge. Oh, I don't think I had it. I don't think I had it even near the cut line. So that's the other thing you have to make sure. So you can cut off just a little bit, and that allows you to open up that. And then, then I've got these pieces that I can cut off, and I can cut these on the score lines, and that's how I get that big piece with the edge at the bottom. Or this one where I actually cut that. So I cut this piece out and I cut this off, and then I flipped it around and attached it, just so it had some more dimension. I hope that makes sense. But these were really fun. They turned out really great, I think. Like I said, I liked the paper pumpkin this time around. I just knew that I would use this size cards, and I just actually used, a sheet of Lost Lagoon and a sheet of Mossy Meadow. And where I found that on my sheet was right here. It gives you the coordinating colors. So it gives you an idea of colors that would look good with the products that are actually in the kit. And actually, they do give you a couple of different ideas of things to do. This is where they did cut apart the envelope. But I love this paper. And so why waste it on the inside of an envelope when you can put it in with your card? And so really super easy. Like I said, there's the box and there's the actual products that you're supposed to make, or you should make, or you could make. But I'm going to have fun finishing up these thank you cards and just grateful for you cards. using that kit. I use kits a lot more now than I ever did, just because life is crazy busy for all of us, and I know that if I get a kit, I can make something and be done with it. All right, I'm coming over to look and see. Yay, okay, I'm just looking to see if there were any questions. It doesn't look like it. All right, cool. All right, so now I am going to go back over to my desk area and get started on a quick demonstration using the decorative masks. This is one of the things that was in the mini catalog that I was intrigued by. I probably should have a different piece of paper out here so you can actually see what I'm looking at. I'll put them on here. So these are the decorative masks, and these are actually pretty thick. I'm actually impressed with the material. There's it's not called plaid. I should have wrote it down. Anyway, there's that background stamp or image. There's these leaves, and I'm going to actually show these tonight and play with them and show you some cards I made with them. Snowflakes, which are kind of fun, but I have to tell you, our latest weather forecast is forecasting snow in our area. I don't suspect that I will have it in my yard, but I think it will be not too far up the mountain that we will start getting snow. It's that time of year. We're having a real big weather change, so here we go. We love our snow. And then there's there's one missing. Oh, here it is. The sunflower, or I should just say flower because it could be all different kinds of flowers, is actually a 4-step. And so there's the flower, and then there's this image that does the middle pieces of the flowers. And then this gives you just a little texture to the middle of your flowers, and then the leaves. And how they did this 4-stepper one, is so they have this little notch in there. And so when you're using it on your project, these are not hard to line up, to be perfectly honest with you. But, you know, if you have this down and you sponge it or whatever you do to ink it, and then you pull it up, if you've taken your paper and just made a little tick mark where that V is, then it'll be super easy to line the rest of them up as you go. But really what I found out was this is a pretty bold, it's a pretty bold image. Kind of reminds me of our definitely decorative stamps from years ago. It's pretty easy to line up. But if you're a perfectionist like some, use that little tick mark. All right, so I will just get started. I'm just going to start with a big sheet of paper, because that's how I did it when I practiced. Let me grab my pen. So I'll show you the little tick mark thing. And you can use any size paper. Truly what I did is I wanted to match it up. When I first started playing with these, I matched it up on my cardstock edges because I knew that then it was straight. But I'm going to tick it anyway, just so that you can see what I'm talking about when you have that little tick there. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I pulled some colors, so I'm going to use crushed curry, old olive, and pecan tonight. And we'll start with the crushed curry. Now the first time that I did this, my first flowers that I did, I inked up my blender brush, and sometimes you might want to ink up your blender brush and just tap it off a little bit. I actually tapped it right off onto this plastic because then I can pick up the ink as I'm sponging. If I get my blending brush really, really juicy with a lot of ink and I put it onto my image, sometimes you're just going to get like a big blob of dark ink. And so you're better off to tap it off a little bit and then blend it in. And when I first started, so I'm just going to tap it, I tap it off a little bit so you can see how much ink you get off. That's quite a bit. And then when I first did this, I actually went to the middle of my flowers and sponged them out. But then yesterday I saw a demonstrator who just started on the tips of the flower and brought that around. And again, you can bring in this, more ink Best to start with less and add in more so that you don't get a big blob. You can always make it darker, can't make it lighter. My poor dog, she ran outside now, and now she's out there going crazy. I might have to, that moved on me a little bit. I might have to open the door for her because otherwise her barking will drive the neighbors crazy. So I'm just going to show you how quickly you get that. There's my little tick mark. It's not very dark though. I actually tonight I wanted to do some dark colors. So I'm actually going to do it again into the middle. So I'm going to pick up some ink, a lot of ink, and start right in that middle and swirl it around. I can pick up this ink too. No use wasting that. And what I'm going to get is I'm going to get a really dark shade in the middle of the flower, and then it's going to go out into lighter. It's going to be cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So really, that's as simple as it gets. And you can use any colors. You can use, all kinds of colors for the flowers, because flowers could be anything when you're stamping. And then I'm going to come in with my middles. I'm going to line up right there with that V. I'm coming in with pecan pie. I'm going to check, I think, okay. My computer keeps making funny noises. So on this one, I'm definitely going to tap it off because I know that my pecan pie is dark. Hasn't been used much. And again, you can pick up that ink and use it. And you can shade this however you want. I mean, if you want one edge to be darker or one flower to be darker. And then when I pick that up, I've got my insides of my flowers done. But you can see how much it really is fun. So this little thing, this little texture thing in here is kind of weird. I wasn't sure I really cared for it when I first did it, but now I kind of like it. So it just gives you some texture into the middle of your flowers. And you can see where the ink is going to go. You're going to get the dots. And you noticed I used the same color. I just used the same color pecan over it so you can see where I get the different textures. Now there's lots of things you could do with this. You can, I'm going to get a different color before I do my leaves in pecan. Bring in the old olive for the leaves. I'm just using blending brushes because I have them out. You can use, one gal was using watercolor paper and using ink blenders and water and a brush to stencil. I find the blending brushes are the easiest. Get my leaves done. And that's it. And then you've got this beautiful piece of cardstock. That's all done. Now these, yesterday I was just using some stamp cleaner and a Kleenex or a baby wipe. I actually have a Kleenex. That's how you clean them up, and they clean up really simple, real easy, real simple. And I'm not kidding. I'm impressed with the plastic that they used on these masks. Some people are, again, you can use different products. So we have our paste. You could actually put these on, paste them on to your cardstock with the masks, and give your card some real texture with paste. Paste can also be dyed with your inkers. I actually tried the outline one. I put the God, if I can find my words, the stencil back down onto my project. And then I used a black marker, but I didn't have a thin black marker. And my line felt too bold for me. It just was like too much. But yesterday what I did is I just sponged a whole bunch. I just blended a whole bunch of pieces of cardstock with flowers. And you know, you don't have to do this like I did. It doesn't have to be done like this cornered up. I could bring this over here, you know, and it could be off the edge. And really, you're going to figure out, it's going to be easy to, in fact, I'm going to show you. It's going to be easy to line this one up. Just because the images are pretty bold. Biggest thing is you want to hold it down. Let's put a lot of color in there this time. In fact, let's just do one flower. Now, if you look right now at it, you can see where my stencil moved because I have a white highlight. So you need to make sure that your stencil gets lined back up with your flower when you go to do the next piece, so that you don't end up with a halo, which people were doing halos. They were doing different colors. It was really beautiful. I'll do the middle here, but you can see how pretty simple it is to line this up. And then I'm not going to do that one this time, but I'm going to do leaves. And I want my leaves I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll do this sleeve here. Oh, Petra. Here, I'll do it down here so it doesn't go off the paper. So you don't really have to have it in a specific place. Boom, you've got a flower. All right. I'm going to go sneak over and see if you guys have any questions. Let me let the dog in. Come on. Now hopefully she won't start barking because she thinks that somebody's here because I'm talking. All right. Houndstooth. Thank you, Terry. That is the name of the mask. Hi, yeah, Julie, Houndstooth is, yes, no. Sylvia, I'm glad you found me. I know I had some issues with my computer setup. I didn't quite have it set up correctly, and I will get that figured out. All right, so you guys, the masks are really simple to use, and it's just really a lot of fun because you can do it in different colors. So I'm going to sneak back over to my desk, and like I said, yesterday I just did a whole bunch of flowers, and then I cut them out. And you can see on this card, the houndstooth is in the background here. You can just barely see it. I used crushed curry on crushed curry, and I ended up with that. And then everything that I used for words for these projects, I'll grab it here, was the stamp set Very Best Occasion. This was Endlessly Grateful. And what's this one? Oh, You Make My Life Happier. All right, so you're probably asking me, why do I have those stamps sitting on the case? So this is what I do when I'm stamping. So I use these stamps, and they were not clean, so I won't put them back in the case until they're clean. And so I just stuck them to the top of my case, and then I set them there. And I should have cleaned them before I put stuff away last night, but that's why they're sitting out the way they are. And then I use the label punch to make the labels. So it's really pretty simple. I used houndstooth, and then I cut out the flowers and I just cut out a whole bunch of flowers. This one was cool. So this one was done with flamingo, Flirty Flamingo. I did the Flirty Flamingo and the pecan and Old Olive. Those are the same colors. I just brought in Flirty Flamingo. But once I did them, then I put them, I hope you can see that. I put them through the embossing folder, the new embossing folder in the Holiday Mini Catalog. I love it. I don't know what the name of it is, And then I just layered it. And when I went to trim this out, as you can see, it got kind of tattered. And it was because I ran my cardstock through there. But then I liked it. I liked that look. And I thought I would probably take like the pecan and maybe even go around my edges a little bit, just to give it just a little bit more antique look to it. And it pulls out that embossing. And it doesn't matter that my cardstock ripped. This was before I put my new blade in. So that's how I knew I desperately needed a new blade. Now, if I really want that embossing to show, you know, I can, and I'm just going lightly over it, but you can see how it makes it pop on my card. And just gives it a real antique look. So just because I tore my paper didn't mean I had to throw that whole thing away. I just work with it. Simple. This was just a really simple. I just did the flowers on a piece of cardstock. I cut them down to 4 by 5 1/4, added a label, added some twine in there, and then actually attached my label with a dimensional so that it won't slide back and forth. But I really liked the look of it. It was so simple. And then this one, same thing. I actually used 2 masks. I used the leaf mask for the background. I don't know if you can see that. And then the sunflower seeds. And then I textured it with the embossing folder. Again, because I love that embossing folder. And again, I might come in on this label. There's hardly any ink left on this blender brush, but just to tone that white down. I guess it was just a little too white for me under all these lights. And then a little linen bow. Pretty simple. Now this one uses the leaf mask. This one, no, not the, almost brought the snowflakes out. We're not going to play with that one tonight because it's really too close to being true. So this is the leaf mask that I used, and all I did was lay this on a piece of paper, and I just took the 3 colors that I'd been using, the pecan, the curry, and the old olive, and just randomly sponged all over it. Tonight I'm going to do something else with it. Same colors, I'm just going to do it like in a, I'm going to cut this paper down. So I'm just cutting a sheet of 8.5 by 11 into quarters so it's easier to work with. And then, I don't know why, I have this paper down. Oh, I guess it's dirty. I don't have to worry about it. I have this paper down, but for some reason I don't like to get it dirty. So I have scratch paper that I put down, but I'm going to live on the edge tonight. All right, and so this time I'm going to lay down my mask. And as you can see, the mask is actually bigger than the piece of paper I have. But I'll probably end up trimming these edges off anyway because I'm going to layer this onto something. If I wanted to, I could just take some tape. I got so many cords. Let me grab just some Scotch tape. If I had washi tape, I'd use that. But when I cleaned out my stamp room, I cleaned out my washi tape. So I'm just going to do that so that the mask doesn't move around. And hopefully the paper won't move around. All right, so let's start with yellow. I'm going to ink up my yellow or ink up my brush. And I kind of want a lot this time because I'm really going to go to town. And I'm not doing it like I did the other one where I just randomly put stuff down. This time I'm actually kind of making rows. I wanted to see what it looked like. And you could, like I said, you could use any color. You don't have to just use the colors. I mean, you could bring in any colors, especially this time of year. Do you see how I move that? You'll know it's moved when you have a white border around your leaves. And then, do I want to do that much pecan? I guess. What the heck? So I'm also showing you the 2 different blending brushes. So we have the miniature ones and then the regular size ones. Both are great. The miniature one is nice for smaller areas that you're doing. But you probably don't need to have them all both. And what I do with mine, for instance, I'm coming back in with some more yellow, is this one's in yellow, so I would use all of this, all of my yellow ink pads could use this brush. It's okay that it's contaminated with crushed curry, because if I add a Daffodil Delight, it isn't going to make that big of a difference. So that's basically how I have my brushes. Okay, I have this pink one, which could be used for pinks and reds, yellow, green, brown. So just really stick to the basic colors. You don't need to have a brush for every single color, because you won't do that. You won't be looking for that. And you know, you're not always going to get the exact right color. So there's this one, kind of done in a rainbow pattern, but kind of a fun, just a different look than this one, and then a much different look than just the background, a very subtle background. So there's lots you could do with it. So the other thing is I always look at this and I think, oh, it's just so much white. And if I don't want that much white, I could always come in and tone it down. So I could actually come in using what's on the brush in the same kind of pattern, and you'll see how that tones that down. You could bring in more color if you want more color. It's a good way to clean your brushes too. This way you get you've used all your ink. But you can just see how that toned down that card completely. And then I've got a great background starting for some card that I may want to do. So that's the decorative masks. Ooh, I talk too much. All right. I'm checking for questions, so yes. Sylvia says they look so easy to use. They really are easy, Sylvia, and you could do it with watercolors, you can do it with your markers, you could do it with a lot of different things. You can do it with the sponge daubers, but it's kind of fun, makes really quick cards. Like I can sit down and you don't really have to think, because you're just putting ink. You're not actually like thinking where you're putting it, you're just putting it into the mask. Like I said, I made a whole bunch and cut them out one night and then made the cards the next day. Had all the pieces. So yeah. Hi, Sean from Fairbanks. Welcome. Oh, good. Terry has them, but she hasn't used them yet. And that's kind of my thing. I was cleaning up my stamp room the other day, and I'm trying to get back into doing these lives, and those masks were sitting there. And I thought, okay, show them how to use masks, because it's not hard and you can do this. So yeah, you could use some dots to fill in. That'd be cute. You could use your blends. You know, once you've got them, the flowers anything started, you could then take your blends and blend in different colors into it would be cool. It would look like that no line watercoloring. Yes, and I like the leaf, and I really do like the snowflake one, but I'm just not ready for that time of year yet. Although it's September, so we expect to get snow. All right, so a couple things. Oh, I did want to show, let me go grab just a second. All right, I'm just going to show you quickly the tutorial for this month, because I love these cards. So I use the Fruitful, what's it called? Fruitful Blessings stamp set. There was just something about this stamp set. I totally love florals as it is, but on this particular, so this is the tutorial that I've made for this month. So if you do place an order with me, I send this to you free, PDFs and pictures of the projects with instructions. And then if you place an order that's over $50 in the month, the following months you'll get a packet of products from me to make the cards. It won't have the stamped images, it just has the cardstock and the papers and the embellishments and the ribbons and stuff. So I make one of these every month. So this one's fun. This is using Moody Mauve for my flowers. And this ribbon, It's really pretty. It's this ribbon, and then it comes with a copper ribbon. This one, really shiny. I just like did a, I don't know, back and forth and just tied it off. It's not tied like a bow or anything. I wanted to try to keep it as flat as I could. On my sentiments, I actually just used a pair of scissors and cut them out. And I like that look. It's kind of real popular. And that was kind of fun to do. And then a couple of embellishments. You can see I used that embossing folder because it happens to be my favorite one at the moment. This card, same stamped image, just used different colors. I went with the copper and the Daffodil Delight on this one. Really, I just changed out the copper and, yeah, the copper, because I put it on a copper base. Changed my flowers around to different colors. Has that copper ribbon in there, it's nice and shiny, and some of those sparkly embellishments that have a little, I don't know, they have a little like glitter in them. And then again, the embossing folder, and I cut out the sentiment. These two, simple. So these are using the copper cardstock. I used the embossing folder where I just embossed a piece of cardstock, and then I cut these down to like 5 1/4 by 1 inch, and just to give it a little bit of something. But super easy cards, I mean, and the paper really does all the work. That paper it's beautiful. It's got some beautiful paper. This one, I love this. So the back of this paper is all different designs with a copper shine to them. You know, so like the back of this one, you can see it's copper back there. I don't know if I might have some around here. Anyway, so it's really just gives it that shine. I put a little piece of ribbon on there. Again, colored the flowers just using the colors that I pulled from the paper. So it's, you know, moody mauve and probably old olive. Peacock. Is it peacock? Yeah, peacock, that's a cool color. This one, again, there's that shiny paper, but the other side is actually real life leaves. And I just stamped a bunch of stuff and spent the night coloring them, and then die cut them out and made cards. And again, I put some of those sparkly embellishments on there. I like that one. And then this one, this is the same paper. So the other side is sparkly. This side has wood grain. And for some reason, I don't know, I love that wood grain paper. I don't know why, but I just think it's really cool, and I like to make cards with it. I was looking over here to see if I had some of that autumn paper to show you, but I don't see it. And again, these were some of the images that I'd cut out while I was watching TV. And these little pieces here are just pieces of the ribbon. So on this ribbon, I cut off the edge of the ribbon and then pulled some of the threads out and just laid them in there for some texture. Again, and I cut the words out. I mean, really simple. I try to keep it simple, just time-wise. And it's just, I love simple stamping, but it looks good. So, all right. I'm ready. Yeah, Terry's ready for I'm definitely ready for the cooler temps. I don't mind that at all. I would just like to, let me grab a drink of water here. I'm just not ready for the S word. I personally prefer fall when it's cooler. Mornings are cooler, nights are cooler. Days are not bad. To me, it's like, you know, fire weather, football weather. But we do expect snow. Yes, Julie, we still have moose around. I will tell you that they're not in town yet, but I suspect they're on their way, especially if it snows in the mountains, because it's supposed to do that tomorrow. And usually when it starts to snow up in the mountains, they come into town to feed. And I know there are like moose all around us. So if you go up to Greeno Lake, which isn't very far, it's a little hiking path you can take around. But last week there were 3 moose in the lake. And when my kids were little, we went camping once, and there was a moose in the lake, and I didn't know that moose could swim. It was pretty impressive to watch this big moose swim around that water. It's just its nose sticking up. But yeah, so the moose will be back, and I will definitely take some pictures. They usually come to the neighborhood because we have a lot of people that have mountain ash trees, and that's what they like to demolish. It's just what they do. They demolish them. I used to have one in my yard, but the moose took care of it, and it didn't survive. So, oh, Cindy, I'm glad you just got home. I'm glad you found me because I had my technology messed up, and it was not where I said it was going to be. So hopefully. Okay, Sean, you're a newbie for ordering. If you want to order, you can email me at diane@DDStamps.com, and I will help you through the process, and I can actually place the order for you. Or you can set yourself up an account on the website, and let me actually kind of set this up so that I could show people. I'm just going to scoot some of this stuff out. You can see all these windows I have open. I'm going to deal with the Stampin' Up! Website right now. All right, so let me just show you quickly what I'm talking about when I say you can go on the website. So this is the Stampin' Up! Website. I have to move some more stuff, sorry. It's crazy how many things are open. All right, so when you, as a customer, when you go to www.stampinup.com, this is the website that you come to. There's a lot of great information on here. There's a couple of things I want to talk to you about before we leave, but I want to show you quickly how to do, if you want to place your own order, you can just go. Oh, why is it not going to work? Oh, there. It's operator error. Imagine that. All right, so you can just sign in. If you can set up your own account. It's not going to let me do that because it recognizes that it's me that's here. And so I can't really show you how to sign in. But it's real simple. You just sign in with your email and your information, and you can pick your demonstrator, and you can do a search for me. But like I said, if you want help walking through it, just let me know, and I can help you through that. A couple of things that I wanted to show you tonight was this virtual event. So Stampin' Up! Is doing for National Card Day, they're doing a Come Craft With Us Day, October 7th. This is an event that's open to anybody. So it's free, it's online, it's going to be like, I don't know, 3 hours maybe? 2 to 5 Mountain Time. So, but it'll also be filmed so that if you can't be there on that specific day, you'll be able to watch it afterwards. And so it's just a fun day. It's World Card Making Day. They will have different demonstrators, different staff members teaching stamping, and we'll actually make projects. And there's actually a list that you can print out and have cardstock cut and ready to go. You can, you can use the stamp sets they're using, or you can use what you have. It doesn't matter. But it would be kind of fun. This would be a fun event for people to participate in as just for the fun of it. So think about that, and you have to sign up for it. So you have to go to www.stampinup.com, click on that very first thing where it says free virtual event, click on that, and then register. I'm already registered, so I can't even show you how to do that because I registered immediately. But it's really fun. Excuse me, we always learn something new. Next, Stampin' Up! Has a special release of some designer series paper in the online exclusives. If you are interested, these are the papers, and they're available while supplies last. So the online exclusives is something new, and it's something that Stampin' Up! Is going to continue, and it's always going to be only online. So if there's something that is, you like and you want it, and it's an online exclusive, I'd recommend that you get it because it is crazy. Sometimes things sell out quickly. I don't know if anybody was interested in the little car. The car was pickup. Anyway, where is this one here? The Trucking Along. So that punch sold out in hours the first time it was available. But they're coming back in October. The little cars and the car stamp set is available, so you can still get that. Anyway, so online exclusives are just that. They're just online. And the paper, these 5 papers are exclusive, only seen online if you're interested. Kind of fun. It's always fun to find new papers. The giving back this year is this paper here. So the product give back is just, they pick a product and they give $3 to a charity. And ours has to do with feeding people. I don't remember the exact charities, but it's about, the proceeds will go to people that are being fed. Sorry, I wish I had more information. There's just so much going on. And then the new Christmas kits. Kits will come out every month. There's a new kit. As we know, the December catalog's out and available. So, clearance rack. The clearance rack was updated yesterday. So there's lots of new stuff on the clearance rack that you might be interested in. So you might want to check that out. Prices were incredible. All right. Oh, Julie, I'm glad that you can make it. Yeah, I'm going to keep working on sharing. This is what I like to do, and I haven't done this much since Les passed away, but it's time for me to get back to what I love to do, and this is one of those things. Terry, my stamp room, I will tell you what happened was my daughter-in-law's dad moved to town, and he needed some work, and I needed some work done at the house. And so this I actually was going to make into my garage. I was going to make it back into a garage, but my kids and he talked me out of it because they really wanted me to come back in here and play. I'm glad they did. So I tore out the carpeting. Well, he did. I didn't do it. I tore out the carpeting, painted it, put in new lighting, cleaned out a lot. I just cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. I had to move everything out of here for him to work and then move back in. So I got a lot of stuff gone. But I love it. It's coming together. It's not quite together yet. As you can see behind me, it's just kind of clustered back there. My stamp stuff is over here. My computer used to be up against that wall, but now it's on this side, right close to my stamp area. I love it. It'll come together and it will be great. So that's cool. I painted the doors. I like that color blue. I actually was going to paint the cabinets over here, those cabinets over there. I was going to paint them blue. But then I decided to start with the doors and see what I thought. And then I thought if I painted my cabinets blue too, that would be too much. I'm going to move my camera though a little bit so that you guys can, I think I can move it. So you can kind of see my new curtains. Aren't they pretty? Everything's big and bold and bright and beautiful. And you can see lots of lighting over there because that's where I actually was demonstrating. Yeah, I love that blue. I don't know why, but navy blue has become my favorite color. And the best part about this whole thing is through that room right there, that door right there, that used to be kind of the room that was just full of stuff. Anything we didn't know. At one point, years ago, before this was a stamp room, that was my son's bedroom. Anyway, so it was just a room that was just full of, you know, all that stuff that you just don't know what to do with. And the kids and Mike, the contractor, convinced me to move my laundry room. So I still have my laundry room in the basement as of today, but within the next week or so, my new washer and dryer are showing up. And they're going to be right there in that room. And it's going to be really convenient to have it upstairs and not my downstairs basement. It's kind of gross. In fact, the kids keep saying, we should just cement the whole thing in. I'm like, no, we shouldn't. We got to clean it out first. But the laundry room will be perfect right there. And then I can do laundry and stamp. It'll be great. So yeah, thanks. All right. Yes, this will be on YouTube. Definitely. I will probably try to post it on my website too, and also on Facebook if I can figure out how. Trying to figure it all out. I can see that it's not hard to get on YouTube Live, but you shouldn't schedule it beforehand if you didn't click the right buttons. That's why it didn't go onto the YouTube channel. So anyway, if there's anybody has any questions, now would be the time because I gotta go, man. It's Big Brother night. No, I'm just kidding. I love the curtains too, Terry, and they were really cheap. I got them like Wayfair, and but they're big. They're bold, and I love the colors. I really wanted to go with big, bold colors in here. And hopefully by the next month, my rug will have showed up. That's going to be on the floor, and maybe that back wall will be finally decorated. Thank you, Jana. It's good to be back. It really is. I have spent some time this week doing some lives and doing some things, and this is okay. You know, I can do this. It's much easier now than it was a couple years ago. So take care. Have a good night. Thank you all for showing up. I'll speak with you soon. Bye.